So I would like to share with you about my thinking about Anji. Every year when I come to Anji, I see new changes and I see new breakthroughs. So this is very valuable. So they are different every year. Just now, Professor Li Jimei also mentioned that at the very beginning, the conditions were very limited and the resources they had were very limited. But Anji started the reform and exploration in early childhood education. So they made some achievements and then had influence on the community and the parents. Do you know that when we try to implement this kind of approach in other places, the biggest difficulty people feel is that whether the parents will agree with this kind of approach. If you don't teach, what can the children learn? The parents may have this kind of thinking. The parents in Anji are exactly the same as the parents in any other places. They had complaints and they had some criticism at the very beginning. However, during the 3 years of their children in the kindergarten, these parents changed their mindset. The parents become the partners of teachers, constructing the curriculum together. What did the children learn in this kind of play? When I visited Anji kindergarten, in the classroom, I saw nobody. I saw no teacher. I saw no children. Everyone are in the playground. And then in the classroom, sometimes I only saw several children. Only in the classroom, sometimes I only saw several adults. And then I was wondering, no teachers and no children were in the classroom. Who are these adults? And then later I found out they are actually parents. They are the supporters of the kindergarten. These parents are not really members of the parents' committee. They only serve as the supporters to the kindergartens. And they volunteer to be the supporter to the kindergartens. So at that time, when I saw these adults in the kindergarten, I approached them. I asked them, "What are you doing here?" And then they asked me, "What are you doing here?" So then I told them who I am, and all these parents told me that their children had learned so many things in the kindergarten. They didn't complain to me saying that, "Oh, this kindergarten only ask my children to play. They don't teach anything." So they didn't complain. Instead, what they said is that my children learned so much. And when you had in-depth conversation with these parents, they will then explain to me in details what the children learned, what kind of characters the children acquired, what kind of skills, and also what kind of learning experiences the children had. The parents were also very moved about the learning characters the children have acquired during the play process. And the children even taught parents because the children insisted on doing things by themselves instead of asking parents to do these things. And all these things are very inspiring because I have never got this kind of experience. When I visited the kindergarten, the parents approached me and praising the kindergarten and telling me how much the children have learned. I think this is a very unique experience for me. Recently, we were also proposing the project of bridging the primary school and the kindergarten. So at that time, we were producing a campaign video for the bridging project. And then at that time, one of the government leaders told me that we should have several shots of the students moving from the kindergarten to the primary schools. And I said it's not going to be very easy, though. My suggestion is that what you can do is that, when the kindergarten children visited the primary school, usually photos will be taken of this kind of visits, and the photos will then be hung on the wall. Then in your video, you can just make several shots of such photos on the wall. Then this shows the bridging process of the kindergarten children to the primary schools. However, when I visited Anji Play, when I found that the Anji children are very different, because when we sent a principal of the primary school to the Anji Play kindergarten, the children were quite excited. They were different from the children in other kindergartens. This is my estimate. However, I found that the Anji Play children were like adults. They actually put down their questions beforehand, and some of them even made some notes what kind of question they wanted to raise. And when the principal came, and after they raised the question, they just ticked the question. Today, I couldn't show you the photos. I was really, really inspired because I found that these children actually have such a high level of thinking skills. They need to write down the questions, and they use their own symbols. They didn't use the language we can understand, but they use the symbols that they can understand. So they use their own symbols to express their own thinkings. At the very beginning, I couldn't understand what they mean in their drawing, and then later they told me that they are actually studying snails, and they use their own symbols to express their thinking and studies of the snails. So during that conversation between the principal of the primary school and the Anji Play children, the principal actually found the children in Anji Play raised very challenging questions, and they are so determined to get the answer. And then the principal can only say that, okay, regarding the snail, in the grade 2 and the grade 3 study in the primary school, you will have the answers because we have animal studies. But then the children were saying, we have to wait for we have to wait for so long to get the answer. So I found that the children in Anji Play are very different.
That's because in the kindergarten, every child has to make documentations. They started to observe plants. They have got into the habit of observing. And I can see that young children have developed their skills of documentation. They are able to make logical documentation, draw pictures, make symbols. Even the youngest children begin to document their observation and are always ready to share their observations with teachers. A parent commented, "In Anji, my child learned so much." This is not flattering. Children did learn a lot. Parents admire teachers because parents are welcome to visit the kindergarten whenever they swipe their parents' card. And they're welcome to observe children's play in our kindergartens. Sometimes parents sit in a circle with us. I ask them, how did you feel? Parents say that teachers are really wonderful. I observe children's play together with teacher, but why I couldn't see so many intricacies in children's play? And teachers are able to share their observation with children, responding so much by children. Teachers are really great. So parents became great fans of teachers. Parents became great supporters of teachers. They believe that when teachers have such wonderful expertise, their children can learn a lot. When children returned home early Friday afternoon, all the parents were happy and they supported teachers because they know when their children are discharged early in the afternoon, teachers remain in school studying children. They're having meetings, video conferences, studying the videos, studying children. So they are supportive of what we do. I have a lot more stories I have observed in Anji. When I learn more about these stories, I am more convinced how wonderful these plays are. And today in the audience we have so many great preschool masters like Kong, right? You wrote so many wonderful books. Well, I cannot wait for this afternoon's sessions